Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Money Monday on the Daily Huddle. We've got some exciting things for you today. But before we get started, our guest today happens to be in the real estate business. So in that vein, I'm going to give you a little bit of really bad humor. So just in case you didn't know, 90% of all people looking at homes hate carpeting. The other 10% hate your carpeting. Everybody hates carpet,
does
right?
that really need that needs a joke writer. He's really bad at it.
I do what I can. It says not so funny.
It's not so funny. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. I'm Kimberly. This is Zach over here, like
Comedian.
scrolling. Yeah, comedian. He's not a comedian. He is not going to take anyone's stand-up routine away from them.
Nope.
Right? You got that good to go?
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about one of our favorite topics, and we're going to talk about how did you leave thousands on the table at your last home sale. But before we do that, we have a few questions of the day for you guys.
Absolutely. All right, let's start with Chase. Chase, you're like front and center today. I like that view. Let's see, what time is it and what are you grateful for today?
Well, how are you guys? You guys are great.
Good. How are you?
It's the present moment. It's the now. We're right here. There's nothing we can do about it. Can't go back, can't go forward. We're right here.
That's true.
That's it.
And what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for the people that I get to touch with my talent, with my songs. And I had a situation yesterday and I just brought it up in my mind. So I'm so grateful for that. Really.
I need to hear your music. So.
I will send it to you, girl. I'm not afraid.
Well, send it to
do
me, Chase. We're here way too often together for me not to have heard you sing and play, right?
Well, I just friended you on Facebook, so you guys come check.
Oh, now I'm gonna see you forever. Be careful of that. Just kidding.
Good to see you guys.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks for sharing with us today. I'm excited about your music.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see on the peanut gallery here. Kimberly.
Oh.
Where are you? And who will you hug today? I keep wanting the right answer here, but I never get it. So
I'm exactly where I say I am, and I'm right here today, and I'm going to hug you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
See? Yeah.
Morning.
That's his fault. He
Yeah,
gets that.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And
that was a kiss.
it was. Andrea, how are you?
I am the way I say I am, and today I'm inspired.
Oh, awesome. Yay. Well,
outstanding.
We are super excited today to introduce you guys to one of my college best friends. She was in our wedding, right? And she is absolutely amazing. So you guys will follow her on social media. She's hilarious, but her name is Amanda. We don't say her last name, but I'm going to. It's Lebiszczak. Did I do it? Is that right? Yeah. But we're just going to go with Amanda from here on out. So I'm going to read you her bio really quickly before we let her get started. So selling over $200 million in real estate is no small feat. Add in rebuilding the business in 3 states, and you've got 2 of the accomplishments of Amanda. No one says her last name. With a pretty house team. In an industry plagued with negative stereotypes and swindler vibes, Amanda's dedication to pulling back the curtain on buying and selling real estate has propelled her to top producer status. She strives daily to provide an exceptional customer experience. Even before you become her client, Amanda's overflowing with honest, sometimes comical real estate advice, better jokes than Zach, and shares it to thousands of followers on her multiple socials daily. In her spare time, you'll find her clearing her mind with hot yoga or on the boat with her family chasing fish. So today we're going to talk about how did you leave thousands on the table in your last home sale. So Amanda, thank you for joining us today. So good to see your smiling face, and welcome to the Daily Huddle.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this topic because I think it is one in real estate that most homeowners don't think about until it's too late and you can't go back, right? You can only go forward and you already missed it. You've already missed the money. You lost it. So for me, when I say, why did you leave thousands on the table? It's three things, maybe a fourth if we have time. But the first thing I think is really important before you sell any piece of property is to be ready. So I compare a lot of things in real estate to marriage, right? And so when you go on your very first date with somebody, would you show up with like the gym look, like sweaty and clothes that don't match? Your shorts have a hole. You haven't shaved your legs in a week. You're not wearing makeup. Your roots are a mess. No, because if you showed up on a date looking like that, you might not get a second date. So when you come to market, you have one chance to make that impression. And I think a lot of home sellers think it's okay. They'll overlook it. A buyer won't overlook anything. So when you list with an agent, if that agent says, oh, you can just stick a sign in the yard, it'll be fine. That's the first stop. That's the first sign that you're about to lose money. You haven't even started negotiating. You've already lost money. A buyer walks up to your front door and you have a beat up kick plate. You probably don't even notice it. None of us do. There's chips in the paint. The doorbell's a little janky, thousands of dollars. Why? Because the buyer thinks, well, dang, if they don't even clean up their front door, what's behind the house? How's the plumbing? Do they even deal with that ever? Probably not. So the very first way you leave money on the closing table is by not coming to market fully ready. And I think, unfortunately, in our industry, it's so easy to get in the game that you don't educate yourself on what you need to do with your clients besides just sticking a sign in the yard. That's a super easy part to do. Anybody can do it. I pay a guy to do it. So when we work with our clients, we spend at least about 6 weeks before the sign goes in the yard, getting the house ready for sale. And that doesn't just mean your house. If the neighbors have a whole bunch of junk in the yard, I am happy to go over and knock on the door and help them find some. You got to cleanse. Because if you don't think of buyers doing drive-bys, you're wrong. We require all of our buyers to do drive-bys. So that's the very first way I think most homeowners leave money on the table, is that they show up to the game looking a mess. You just can't. You just can't, because you've already lost at that point. Any thoughts, questions on that before?
Yeah, I want to know, are the neighbors usually receptive to cleaning up their yard?
It really depends on how
allowing you to
broach the
help them?
subject. So I have a listing right now that is a gorgeous home, but this is Florida. So you've got mansions next to trailers, and there's a guy that lives across the street, Eddie, and Lord bless him, he loves an old bathtub. He's probably got 8 in the front yard with shrubs and flowers, and I'm suspecting weed, but he won't give me any, so I can't verify it. And so I just kind of broached the subject like, hey man, this is beautiful, but it's not beautiful to everybody. Is there something that maybe I can do to help you make this a little more pleasing? And he was happy to move the trailer to the backyard during open houses. He doesn't do his weekend yard sales now all weekend long. He really has fine-tuned it. And he learned that if you fine-tune a yard sale, you actually make more money.
You get more people?
Get more traffic.
There you go.
So is it easy? Always? No. I don't think a phone call goes well. A note does not go well. You have to just knock on the door and be willing to say, hey, I need your help. Like, you don't see what other people see, and I just need your help. And then once the house is sold, if you want to go back to being who you are, knock yourself out, but you probably won't, because you'll probably like the cleaner look. It'll feel better to pull in your driveway and be able to see the front door.
Yeah.
And I've got people to help you get there. So it's not like I'm going to expect you to move those bathtubs by yourself, Eddie.
Huge tip, big tip.
Yeah.
I know we do drive-bys before we ever buy any property, right? Or Google home, like everything, and just
You've
see,
got at a
you know,
minimum,
are there
you've got
kids
to
here?
Google
Is it
Street
loud? Is it quiet? What does that look like?
Yeah.
What does it look like on a Friday afternoon at 8 o'clock at night? Like, can you walk your dog in that neighborhood? These are things your realtor legally can't tell you. So you have to do that as a buyer. But I think that's where you first start losing money, is if you don't bother to get your act together. I think the second place that people start losing money is on the price. So everybody thinks their house is the nicest one in the neighborhood. And it is. I am sure. Listen, my house is the nicest house in the neighborhood. 100%. Way better than Nancy's down the street. But wiggle room is definitive. There, you can look at data and see how much wiggle room you really need to have. So and again, it goes back to our industry educating people, but when you go to list a house, it's like getting married. Where you date, if you date outside of your league, you're never going to get engaged. If you price outside of your competition, you're never going to get an offer. If your house is worth, let's say, $800,000, and I go in to list with you, and my wiggle room suggestion is no higher than 810, and you tell me I want to list at 875, you're competing with a $900,000 house. So typically with that seller, I'll say, you know what, that is a great value. Why don't we go look at the house down the street that's listed for 875 and let's see how you'd compete with that. And when you show them something like that, then they'll say, oh, damn. I see
Maybe
you.
not.
I see you. So then you come back down to reality. Now, there's also data that'll show a house that is overpriced will sit for longer. So can you test the market? Sure. The market's really weird, especially right now. You can test, but you've got about 6 days to test. You don't have 30 days to test. Because what happens as a human being, if you see a house that has been on the market for 90 days, what do you think?
Something's wrong with it.
Something wrong with it. Yeah.
That house.
Mhm.
There's some, and you are never going to believe when the agent, as a buyer, you're never going to believe the agent or the homeowner who says, well, we were just testing the market. No, you weren't. You've been cooking meth in the back bathroom and now I can't live in that house. Or, there's a dead body in the attic. Like, you have to think about what a normal person is going to think of your house when you sit on the market for 3 months. So price is critical. If your agent shows up to the listing appointment and they don't have solid data on where your price should be, that's your second red flag. If they just show up and you're like, well, my estimate said 850, and the agent's like, oh yeah, we can totally do that. You should not even just let them go. Let them walk away. Because that's a really difficult conversation, right? To have with somebody, to tell them that what they think their house is worth is not what the market is willing to bear. So if a person doesn't come prepared to have that conversation, how prepared are they to negotiate for you?
Right.
Get
I
you
think
that.
everybody wants obviously the most they can make, right? I want to sell my house when I can get this X amount. So are we there yet? Are we there yet? And having those conversations with sellers, I guess, specifically, are, I'm sure, are very uncomfortable because everybody wants to make the most they can.
It is. And a lot of times you'll have other realtors coming in who aren't
Mhm.
educating about the market, and they'll just agree with the seller. So if I tell you 810 and the lady down the street that sells one house every 4 years tells you 875, who would you believe? You want to believe the 875 lady, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course I do.
Of
Right.
course you do. Why wouldn't you?
I
But
wanna
then
make
3
more
months
money.
later, 3 months later, I can't help you. I can't get you back those 3 months. And now everybody sees it forever. It's not like back in the day where we could delete listings from the MLS and nobody would see that.
Mhm.
Zillow captures it forever. We can see your house was on the market and that you were crazy. You can't get that back. And
Right.
you can't get the selling season back either. So if you're coming in this selling season, which is now, by the time August gets here, baby, those kids are in school. Mama's
Mhm.
not moving. You've missed her. You missed her when she was willing to pay you probably 825. And now you've reduced down to 800 and you've got a problem and you can't
Yeah.
go back.
You can't sell it.
So that's the second thing I think people don't do, is that they don't know where the wiggle room should be, how long you should test for, and really what somebody else is thinking of your house when they go out and compare you to the competition. Any questions on that?
You have any questions?
I'm churning, we're sitting here thinking about making changes and we're in the season, but we're not ready. So we got it might be next year before we can think about that. So,
Zach's like, are we
learning.
selling? Are we not
Yeah.
selling?
that's where we all live there, right? I
Yes,
feel like-
absolutely.
Well,
My
especially
home-
with the real estate market for the past few years. I mean, everybody's like, is it now? Is
Yeah.
it coming back? Should I
The
go
great
now?
news is you missed the party, right? Like, the great news is, I know it sounds negative, like you missed the party. You didn't show up to the New Year's Eve party. You didn't maximize on the insane market, but that party's over. You got to let it go and move on.
Mhm.
But now you have time on your side because there are buyers that are coming back to market because they realize, I'm never going to see the 2 to 3% interest rate again. I'm not going to see that in my lifetime, guys. Like,
Right. Yes, I know.
ship has sailed. So they're getting used to, oh, okay, 5 to 6% is okay. So you do have time on that. But yeah, no, we went and looked at a house yesterday and then walked in and Michael's like, I think we could list the house. And I'm like, have you looked around? Last time you walked in our front door? Because there are wasps that have lived there for, I don't know.
Right.
So
You need to
that's-
fixate.
Everybody is the same, but that's really important. Like, don't let your realtor get you excited just to stick a sign in the yard, because it's not good. The third thing that I think is the biggest thing, that is the biggest headache, because all realtors are the same, right? Like, we all think that, is only interviewing one agent. I don't know. I would say 9 out of 10 times when I go to a listing appointment, I'm the only agent they're meeting with. And so if you only meet with one agent, how do you know what you're getting? You have nothing to compare it to. You don't know what they're doing for the commission. Have you asked? Do you even know what to ask?
Right.
So if you go in and she says, well, my commission is, well, are you aware that there's no industry standard? Are you aware that a 5, 6, 7% commission is not what everybody has to charge? Probably not, because our industry has done an incredible job of making you think we have to do something, and we don't. We're like Pretty Woman. We say who, we say when, we say how much.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
when you meet with a second agent who has their act together and shows you, like when I meet with sellers, I do a you choose commission structure. So I show you 3 different commission percentages and everything that we do for those things. And then you have the power to choose. Do most of the sellers choose the top commission? Yes, because they want me to work day and night to find the highest and best buyer for that house. But I'll give you the option.
Right.
So you know what you're
And
getting.
with those different commission structures comes more media, social media marketing, all
Social
those
media
pieces.
marketing, broker open houses. And then, so we probably don't even have time. Yeah, we got like a few minutes. The real meat of the job is getting the property from contract to close, which is a whole nother conversation. But most agents don't attend things they need to attend. When was the last time you asked your realtor if they'd attend the appraisal?
Right.
If it doesn't appraise, it doesn't close.
Right.
Right. Very much so.
So if I show up to meet with the appraisal and I've got my comps in hand, I've got upgrades to the house, I know about the 3 houses down the street that didn't sell on the market, so I can show you those prices.
And
I'm
your
going
appraiser
to
loves you.
get me to value, right? But if I didn't show up, because nobody knew if the realtor would, because nobody knew to ask that. So I think that's the biggest thing, is not interviewing 2. So you can see, everybody's got a friend in real estate, interview them. This is the biggest financial investment you have. Why would you give it to somebody who's new in the business to do them a favor? If you want to do them a favor, because everybody wants to do them a favor, everybody wants to do that. You want to do them a favor, have them co-list it with a big agent in your market, or pay them a referral fee. Those are 2 things I do often for people who want to do a favor for Sally down the street.
I think
But if
that's a great suggestion. So say that again, because I do think our natural tendency, especially with real estate, right? It's a little different with the financial planning world. People don't care if you're their friend when you get to that point, but with real estate, I think it does, right? I think people are like, oh, my best friend, my sister, my neighbor just got their real estate license. I want to give her a chance, because selling a house is just selling a house, is just selling a house, right? And obviously, when you look deep into that, you realize that it isn't just selling a house. There are all these different pieces of it, but I think allowing it so everybody wins is a big deal. So say that again.
So if I'm meeting with a seller and she's like, well, my niece, Tammy, just got her license and I really need to do her a favor. Like, she needs to learn. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is such a great idea. But why don't I suggest this? Before you give the full listing to Tammy, why don't I bring her on as a co-list agent with me? As a veteran in the business, she can follow along in the process. I can mentor her while I get you top dollar for your house and to the closing table. And then when Tammy gets to the closing table, she'll have something under her belt and she'll have made a little bit of a commission. It'll make you feel good because you're doing her a favor. She'll actually learn what she's doing, and she won't torpedo your deal because she doesn't know what she's doing.
Right. It's fantastic. We have a very similar scenario that we use when we're training new reps, new agents in the financial world, but we just require it, right? You want to get to the next compensation level. You want to get paid more, then you have to go through this training process, and it requires you to be with an industry veteran. I think that's fantastic. I didn't even know that was possible. So, I've learned a ton. Now I'm looking at everything in the house that needs to be done. And
here's the thing, right? I live in Florida. I practice real estate in Florida. But if you have a family member, or if you're thinking about selling your home, I have a list of questions that I strongly encourage you to ask every single realtor that you interview. I'll send you the PDF. I also interview agents for my homeowners. Like this morning, I was looking at properties in Louisiana around my client's house, because I'm going to call the 3 agents who sell the most in that neighborhood, and I'm going to ask them questions from realtor to realtor that I can ask, and then I will recommend the top 2.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's a way
I definitely,
far out.
I was just gonna say, I definitely want that PDF. You can either put it in this chat in a minute, or we can add it to the Facebook once this comes out on Facebook.
Oh, that's
Add
perfect.
it
Yeah,
to the comments there,
email it
so
to you
people
and you
can
can add it to
download it. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Very, very much so. Well,
Any other
Oh, I was gonna say, what's your fourth golden nugget if we have time? So
If
Is it
you
a big
don't know
one?
what to ask or who to ask, just send me a DM.
awesome.
If you're just feeling like I have no idea what I'm doing here and I really either want to buy or I want to sell, I can offer you advice even though I don't live in the state and I don't have any skin in the game.
Right.
So every realtor in your market is going to tell you, you should sell now, you should buy now, because
Right.
they only eat what they kill, right?
Mhm.
But there are some times that you shouldn't sell. You shouldn't put your house on the market from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Because nobody's buying.
Yeah.
Unless the people on the market at that time have to sell and buyers know that.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
So maybe I should buy between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
They have to
I
sell.
should negotiate. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's when you're gonna get a deal.
You can negotiate. You could allow them to stay in the house after you've sold, after you've bought it. They can pay rent back through the holidays.
Mhm. For their Christmas decorations
Get a
and
deal on the price. They
Uh-huh.
get to stay through the holidays.
Yeah.
well, I obviously I love you very much, and so glad that you're here. Let's open it up for questions. Any questions you guys have for Amanda today?
Gosh, I hope
And I know, I was like, and then we'll get started.
really nothing better than being put on the spot.
I know. I can't see everyone. Oh, there we go. I can see everyone now. So any real estate questions while we're waiting on someone to raise their hand? I know where in Florida are you?
I'm in the Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater area. So the West Coast Gulf side. We're the ones that the Weather Channel always says we're going to get hit by the hurricane and then we don't.
Better knock on wood.
Yeah,
right?
knock on wood. And then the folks here thinks that it's either Greek people that are keeping us safe or the Indian reserve. I don't care which one it is. I'm just very pleased that
One or the other.
yeah. And I practiced real estate in Savannah, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, and Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. And that's what I was gonna say. Obviously, I know you're from Savannah, so I know you had that, but I didn't know the other two pieces. So, Gio, what questions do you have for us today?
Thank you. Yeah. Well, Amanda, you're a rock star. Amanda is
Thank
like
you
a
so much,
rock
sir. I
star.
appreciate you saying that.
This way of being is like she knows what she's talking about.
Life's too short. Right?
Yeah, it's like straight to the point. Amanda, I want to ask you my bucket list question, right? You know, I have land in the mountains and I'm looking forward to build that house in the mountains. But I don't have a house on the beach.
Mm.
And it occurs to me, or it seems to me, like that's an impossible goal. Like there's no way I'm ever going to have money to have a house close to the beach, by the beach, yeah, or it's in the vicinity of a beach. And the other day I was driving through Tampa and I saw some pockets where this might be possible. Do you have a place where you can point to, or maybe we can talk offline for some possibilities for regular guy like me that can give it a shot?
No, I totally get that. That's a great question. And we should definitely talk more offline. So wherever there is too much development, you're going to be outpriced. So the generic beaches, the Clearwater Beach, Madeira, Tierra Verde, they're done. They're done for the common man. They're done for the upper middle class man. They're done for the upper class man. It's the upper that's there. So places like Apollo Beach, it's up and coming. So we're going to have to find places where the development hasn't fully capped yet. So Pinellas County is likely out because we are at 99% developed.
Wow.
So where there's no land, you're going to be disappointed in the pricing. But yes, there's absolutely opportunity for beach or waterfront properties. We're just going to have to go where not as many folk are yet. And you didn't hear this from me, but if we don't find something you love in Florida, look in Mexico. I mean, I can't believe the pricing. I have a client right now who's like, show me something comparable. Show me something comparable. I'm going to build in this beautiful island in Mexico. And I just keep sending her things. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, listen, this is America. If you want to stay in America, you need to pay this price. But I mean, the prices are insane right now in a couple of islands in Mexico. So
Wow.
if you want to stay in Florida, though, there's certainly an opportunity. We should talk offline about pricing and needs and the dream and all of that.
Yes, thank you. So your info would be in the chat, I guess, or where would I get your info?
I will definitely put it in the chat, and we also have it on our Facebook group as well. So we'll put it in both places. Yeah. Absolutely. So let me start working on this little chat thing. You can see if there are more questions.
All right, guys. Anybody else have anything else for Amanda? I tell you now, the social media posts are fantastic. I mean, I usually am driving and I start to hear Amanda talk in the passenger seat because Kimberly's got a new video up on her phone while we're going down the road.
Thanks, Gio.
And but no, I just good humor, great information all the time. So definitely do follow.
I appreciate that. I work really hard on that.
She cleans toilets on TikTok sometimes, and talks about her homeowners. Do they ever get mad at you when you share
So
their
I've
food
had
life?
more, so I've added into my listing agreement when I speak with them, because a lot of clients come from social, and I'll ask at the beginning, how do you feel about being part of my social world? And if you're not comfortable, I totally understand that. And more likely than not, they want to be on, but they just don't want to be
famous.
shown. Yeah, they just don't want to be shown in any kind of negative light. So most of my content is made after the sale is done. So they can see themselves and they see the joke and they think it's hilarious, but they've already made their money.
Right.
Right.
So they still love you regardless.
Yeah, they
right?
do. They do.
It's
And I
over
don't
and
ever,
it's done.
I think a lot of realtors get really famous because they make fun of the consumer. They make fun of people that want to learn about buying or selling or investing in real estate. And I really think that's a disservice, because why would you want to work for somebody that all they do is make fun of you and make you feel stupid? So most of my social media, while it will always have like a humor level to it, is about, I either make fun of people in my industry or I'm trying to teach you something that I just can't get across by saying it out loud. So I have to show you, like the toilet cleaning thing.
Yeah. It's important, right?
It's pretty important. People look, put your toilet seats down too before showing. People care.
It just matters, right? It's like that kick plate. Well, we appreciate you coming so much. Amanda's email is over here in the chat, and I'll make sure that we post it and tag it on social media. And then you'll send me that PDF, and I will add that as well. So, but thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. I really had a good time.
Yeah, me too.
Well, guys,
Amanda, you
again,
want me just to email you, or do you have a phone number I can call you? Because
Email is great. Email is great.
all right. Well, guys, again, it's great to see your faces. Those of you that are joining us somewhere else in the social media world, join us live sometime so we can see your faces. But we appreciate your attendance nonetheless. But let's sign off with remembering our 8 tenets that we focus on, right? Love, laugh out loud, stress less. Like Amanda said, life is too short. Eat mostly plant-based. Take care of yourself. Give, sleep, move. The more you move, the better you feel. And lastly, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Take your pause. So guys, again, happy Monday. Let's go out and conquer this. So we will see you guys same time tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
We do.
I know we do. Mhm.